Yeah, man. I do cool things sometimes. How how are you, man? Didn't you just get in? Like you just ran in the door right now?
Basically, yes. I actually got home a minute ago. Managed to get a little food in my system, a little workout in. So I've been here like 30 minutes. But
And a workout. Look at you go.
um, if the camera was any better on my computer, you would see sweat droplets. But
That's awesome, though. Good job, man.
thank you. Let me think. I mean, bro, I don't have other than okay. Like during the NFT craze and all that, when we were all in there, how like burnout was a big topic,
All the time, yeah.
right? Like it was always in the AMA, like everywhere, everybody talking about being burnt out, like how to cope and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I definitely 100 million% saw the relevancy of it. I see the relevancy of that period, and I saw it there in particular because I saw how easy it was, given the day to day, what the day to day grind was like for the average individual who either didn't own a project and was flipping and minting, or owned a project and was building. Like it's the same level almost of burnout, with building a project being maybe a little more fulfilling, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I am in a period in my life now where I'm the same level of exhausted, but I don't feel a desire to stop.
So it depends on when you say exhausted, like mentally, physically,
Kind of
spiritually.
both. I mean, like I do a lot of my job is physical with the tennis, so there's that. And then, I don't want to just be a lump when I'm home, so I work out and I work on my other stuff. And then, mentally, there's just a lot that goes into every other aspect of my life. Like people dealing is a mentally taxing thing, and then on top of that, me personally, I tend to develop mentally kind of fast. So that's kind of, it's like you can almost picture it like metabolism. Like my brain is pretty exhausted most of the time because I'm like constantly, quote unquote, becoming a better person.
That makes sense. I mean, you're always thinking, you're always processing, and even if you're not, you still are. Like your idle brain is still doing
Yeah.
stuff. The only time you're not thinking is when you're asleep.
I don't feel the desire. Like I remember waking up at, I think I told this story on maybe episode 1 or something. But the day before I made a profit with NFTs. I wanted to, like, it was the most intense feeling of wanting to stop I had ever had the day before. And I remember kind of internalizing this week, because I remember, bro, like there were two projects that sent it from me. It was Beings, which ended up having like a racist, misogynistic founder,
Oof.
and then there was Karafu.
Oh man, yeah, I remember them. They're still doing okay comparatively.
Like, so it was like they minted in the same week. I did like a song for both of them. I got on both whitelists through a song and like a Triller video. And I was real happy about it because I did my research, I did my thing. But then, like, the day I was on these whitelists, I was already there. But the day I still, had made no profit. And the day before, I think Beings minted, I was like, I don't really want to do this shit no more. Like, I didn't want to grind it out. I decided to grind out another day, right? And that gave me like, I think if I'd done that, and this is me kind of maybe making this more grandiose than it is, but I think if I hadn't done that, the results that I found the next couple of days wouldn't have been what they were, even though I have no control over how well a project does and all that good stuff.
Right, yeah.
Like, feel like I wouldn't have had that experience if I didn't grind that one day more,
Okay.
And then the day after Beings mints, I have like 3 whitelists. They all mint for like 250. They are worth like 550 on mint, or like something. It goes from like, I don't know. They mint at 0.2. They're worth 0.7. Some crazy shit like
okay.
that.
Yeah, that's a decent profit.
I sell 3 of them. I remember sending my dad like a random $1,000. He was like, "What the fuck?" That was fun. And then the 2 days after the Carrefour thing mints, it goes crazy, and I'm like, okay, so this is what I've been waiting for. This is literally the break I've been waiting.
This is it.
Right. Like this is the 30x I've been waiting for. And I'm like, okay, got it. I'm never gonna give up when I feel that way again. you know. But that was a realm of life where I saw, like I stopped it because of how hit or miss I saw it was gonna be. Like I realized it was like being in a casino and being like, okay, I won, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like I'm.
Okay, yeah.
Um, and even then, like I didn't, like I got the Carrefour stolen and all this other shit. Like I didn't sell my Ethereum on time and all this dumb shit. Now, like I kind of came back and I'm still like at this point, I think I literally have just sitting in Ethereum as much as I spent way back when. And it's just funny. It's like I started from this and I maybe have $500 more now, but it's just chilling.
I
It's
mean, shit,
invested.
that's
It's
infinity better than most people. I'd say most people, especially now, are really, really like not doing well in their NFT Web3 crypto career. I mean, I definitely started in a massive deficit because I made a bunch of bad moves like most of us do.
yeah.
But what kind of to your point, what I ended up doing is I ended up reinvesting all of my ETH back into my invisible friends.
I
So
remember it.
yeah, I mean now I have two. Well, technically four because I have two 3D and two 2D, and now I have my garbage friend. But overall, yeah. So back to I don't want to get off on a tangent. You were talking about the burnout. So you feel how are you relating it to how you feel now, burnt out wise?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, because it's like I feel that way in my life because I'm doing so much, and so much of it is like it's a weird mix of predictability and
mm,
unpredictable. Like there's a lot of parts of my life that are like not regular, but
routine, standard.
routine, right?
Yeah.
And there's mixed in with that is who fucking knows? Like there's certain things that happen every day, and in between those things that happen every day, there's God knows what going on. It's always some different shit. It's always some, and I don't mind that. I think that helps me a lot. I think if it was too routine, I would be more burnt out. So I think that's a big part of what I'm getting at, and like I don't feel the same way I felt back then because of that. Because I get to have those breaks from routine, and the routine is more rewarding on a regular basis. Um, so I'm equating it because you asked how I'm doing. It's like I've been thinking about that the last few days and how I feel similar physically and very different mentally in that I don't have like I caught myself having the same like brain waves. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
like
Thought patterns and
like
stuff. Yeah.
you want to not I don't want to quit what I'm doing, but like you want to just take a break. You want to go on a fucking vacation. You want to this. You want to that.
Yeah. Disconnect from it all.
Right. And it was easier for me to say that'll come than it was back then.
Oh, that's. I mean, yeah. The
Mhm.
when you're saying it, it almost seems like it almost seems obvious to me. I'm not saying it's obvious to everyone, but because of the tangibility of your life and the return on your investment emotionally and mentally, you're working for something that you a know is going to have a return because you've seen it a million times. NFTs not so much. I mean, I you and I have both seen more loss than we've seen gain in the
Sure.
NFT space. So it's like, I mean, if you broke it all down, like there are people who win and lots of people who
I've also
lose.
seen more loss than I've seen gain in the music industry, bro.
Why? What's the loss part? Like, what are people losing?
Well, replace the word loss with failure. Let's put it that way.
Failure only happens when you give up. So if you give up, then yeah, I mean, but you were going to give up regardless of where you went, whether it was music or fucking road work or fucking blowing glass. You were going to give up. You're a quitter. I don't believe that certain arenas dictate someone's ability to become a failure or a success. I think there are limitations that limit your ability to become a certain level of success, but handicapped people are a perfect example of being able to just, you know, not only just achieve at the same level but go beyond even with limitations. And that shows
Mm.
me that it's more mental than it is physical or skill. It just has to do with your willingness to practice, your willingness to study, and your willingness to do what it takes to win. And I think that's a mentality and personality thing more so than it is like a music versus like being a teacher. I don't know. I think like yeah, that's kind
I
of my
don't
thing.
disagree. I don't disagree. I think the tangibility of winning is easier to fake in realms like road work. You know, like you hypothetically, you know, you do one job, you get paid, or you like work with a company, you're getting a like decent wage, then you feel, you know, the need to strive for greater isn't there as as much as it is for us, maybe because you like there's a lot of middle ground. And I feel like with the music, there like as far as monetarily, there's not a lot of middle ground.
I personally beg to differ only because of where we're at in the music industry in terms of how you can make money. Because I can think of like 10 separate ways I can make money with music, and a lot of them are not going to net me millions of dollars, and a lot of or even six figures. But I think that passively with streams, merch, even touring on a small scale, like regional scale, I think you're able to make the same as you would with a job,
Mm.
but not be able to go out and flaunt and buy chains and shit. Like that's I don't know why I said chains, jewelry, but overall I don't think that I think it comes back to the person. I don't think there's a specific profession or a specific arena of making money that there's not going to be that extreme range
Sure.
without it being extremely manipulated, which in most cases I can't even think of like a situation where it's heavily manipulated. But like music is somewhat heavily manipulated. But let's just like take that monster out of it. Like take the what they call the machine or whatever you want to call it. Like take out the big music labels. Take all that shit away. I'm not. You can do whatever you want with it. But I'm saying all the people that make money on sync licensing, all the people that make money on selling their beats, all the people that make money on teaching people to produce, all the people that make money as social media musicians, all the people that make money doing it live. Like I could sit and go on and on and on, and most of those I just mentioned are not going to make you lots and lots of money. I think overall it can, but to your point, I understand where you're going with it, but I also think that there's a level of success that you can achieve pretty much in everything. It just is it's a matter of knowledge in my personal opinion. I think the longer you're in something, the more you learn about ways to kind of capitalize on your knowledge. And that's kind of where I'm getting at is like I think that
Mm.
if you can take away the extremes, it becomes a lot more palatable to your brain. Like your brain can comprehend. I was talking about this yesterday with one of my coworkers. Your brain can like what am I ingest? We'll say your brain can ingest and be okay with like four of something instead of like 12 of something. But you can still
Okay.
give your brain 12 of something. Just do it over time. Give it four now, four in a little bit, and then four tomorrow. Like just whatever, take whatever widget you want. Point being is it helps to be able to break things down and not be so focused on this like a focus on any goal because having too much focus on a goal in my personal opinion is going to lead to a burnout, and then it's also going to lead to a depressive episode when you achieve it because
Great. Yeah.
that and this is where I think that it becomes advantageous to start learning how to and this I'm not saying this to you personally, I'm saying this to myself and everyone else as well. It becomes advantageous to be able to pursue the work instead of the goal because
Mm.
oftentimes and anybody who's listening, anybody who watches this, I'm sure you as well can agree, is if you achieve a goal that you've been working at for any lengthy period of time, be it a year, 6 months, or even like 5 years, what do you do after that? Like someone asked me a
Mm.
question of like I was like I'm going to collect every single Gyarados card there is, which is a Pokemon for those of you who don't know. And they're like then you're going to be depressed, and I was like I thought about it, and I was like well what do I do after that? Like what do I do? And then that just is one way to express it is like making the goal is setting yourself up to be let down afterwards, like mentally on a scientific level. Like you get this dopamine hit that then causes an extreme depression, and when you can shift the focus to the work, like for me, being in the studio is as rewarding as finishing a song. Like both of
Mm,
them have the same level of dopamine because I put priority and value on the work that I'm doing instead of
right.
the goal and the outcome, because I don't control the outcome in most cases. I do control the work.
I get that. I think for me, it's kind of like being purpose oriented that does it. Where how do I put this? Um,
Purpose, like how deep of a purpose are you talking? Like
the
a
deepest.
knife is for cutting, but that's not a deep purpose.
Like I mean purpose as in what I'm here for. I think that's why the depression doesn't get to me at this point
Well, but you
or
also have other goals, don't you? I think that's another aspect to it as well.
I have a lot of goals that range beyond just making it in music. There's like more, but
Yeah.
I picture it even bigger, like hypothetically, those goals came from the purpose that I have. I
Mm.
don't look at those goals like an end all be all. Those goals came from my overall purpose of life, which I cannot ever possibly fully achieve while I'm here. So I'm always gonna have some shit to do.
So you don't agree with the saying from Fred Durst that life is a lesson and you learn it when you're through?
I do. Why would that contradict that?
Well, so you said even at the end of your lifetime, you're not going to have everything, like you're not going to have achieved everything that you were meant to achieve, or did I hear you wrong?
Well, no,
Like there'll be
that's what I
stuff left undone. Like you think that there's still untapped potential in you when you die?
I think in almost everybody there is. Yeah, I say that because how do I put it? The only way I think a human cannot like can fully maximize their potential would be to have almost like a divine existence. Like you're just uncorrupted and you make the right decision from birth every time a fork in the road comes up. And I don't think that ever happens.
So, but that would mean that there was a right and wrong path. I think that for me is
For,
where
for
I
humans, I
disagree.
think for people there are. I think like for example, I think personally I have I don't think there's a right and wrong path. Your path is different than my path, but for me, I have a right path. And for
Right, but then
you
no,
have
as
a
I'm saying, for you as well, I think that if you were to look at it in the perspective that you are, where you split it into all these different like split decisions that forks in the road that you said you could do, I think that because life is so complex and so spread out, and so I also believe in like multiple dimensions,
dimension.
but and timelines and stuff. So I believe that time kind of wraps in on itself after a while. Um, but overall, I think that it's fuck. I lost my train of thought. What was it? What was I saying? Or what were you saying?
Time wraps in on itself. The point of life being fulfilling purpose and not being able to maximize your purpose before
Oh
you're
yeah, yeah, yeah.
gone.
So I think that even if you started like, let's say you start two people at the bottom or at whatever, two people at one side of it, and you start going, and then this person makes all of what you would call the right decisions. If this person makes all of the ones that they think are the best, I think that eventually you would cross paths more than once. Like I think that you would end up at the same ending in more than one case.
Here's why I don't disagree with the crossing paths, but I disagree with the ending
Okay.
because I feel like the right decisions are a straight line and the wrong one to the right one is like a squiggly line. So
Okay.
while the right guy is going like this the whole time, which is again is no human, while he's doing this, the other guy's doing this, so it's taking longer. So you're not like
Oh,
this
okay. So it's based on a time thing. So okay, but what if you remove the time aspect to it?
you could definitely do it.
Like
We only have
the dude that gets to the end first, or the dude that makes all the right decisions dies first because he fulfilled his purpose earlier than the
no,
person.
I don't think that's I mean
So you don't
I
think
believe
that
that
you die when you're done. You think you die unaffected to when you're done with your purpose. Like your purpose may or may
okay,
not be
here's what
fulfilled.
I think your purpose lives beyond your body. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ah, ooh, shit. Oh my god, that was deep.
So that's why I feel like your body almost doesn't matter. Like
Okay, yeah.
you lived your how do I put this? I think everybody has like when you're born, whether you want to call it God or fate or whatever. Like I think there's a time you're gonna die, and I don't think that would change. I think that's kind of set when you're born for by whatever force of life. But it could be as random as you step outside and get sniped by somebody 80 miles away by accident. But like that's how you were supposed to die.
I
Um,
mean, Final Destination, you're gonna die when you're gonna die. You can't avoid it for that long.
so what I'm saying is like I think at that with that understanding. I think if we're lucky as humans, we get to understand what our purpose is. And then once you understand it, it's kind of your responsibility with however much time you have left after you get it to go after it as hard as you can. And that doesn't just mean pursuing money or pursuing whatever. It just means making yourself the best you can be, you know, for as long as you can. I don't think you are going to, I don't think one human existence can make your soul the best it could be and fulfill its entire purpose. I think that's why we live multiple lives
Mm,
because your soul got to do it hella times. You know what I mean? To go through everything, to have all these experiences. Because humans are like this. They're gonna live in this world, so your soul has to do a lot of this to finally get up here. And I think once it hits here, I have this belief that like every soul lives every existence. So I think you literally had to do this with every human body over all of time to finally reach whatever this is. And this might be, you don't reincarnate anymore. You're up there
hmm.
now.
Wow.
That's kind of the group I operate under. So I don't know what life I'm in. I feel like I'm kind of close to the end because I have a lot of these understandings pretty early, and I
Right.
think
Yeah.
you know what I mean. That's how I would define it.
Well, shit.
But
That's awesome.
yeah,
Okay, so to tie it all back to the beginning, how do you feel? So you feel this level of exhausted. Comparatively, it's not as unfulfilling. It's more fulfilling and more aligned with your purpose. So the question then becomes, do you feel the need to, or do you intend to take planned rest? Not necessarily breaks, but just like planned rest, like take a vacation, or do you plan small moments in your day where you do nothing, where you can kind of like recharge? Because I think that for me, and I think for a lot of people, it's important as creatives or people that are just like always grinding to take the time to rest intentionally, because if not, you run the risk of actual burnout, which is where you do not control the way you feel, unfortunately.
well, put it like this: I take naps, right? But so I'm gonna put that out there. But the way I see it at this point in my life, like mentally I'm beyond this, but physically I understand I just turned 20. I've only been here for 20 years, 365 times 20, right? So the way I see it, a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now is going to build a foundation, and I don't want to rest while the foundation's being built. I want to rest in the house.
That's a really good analogy. I've heard the house analogy before, but I haven't heard it used like that. That's pretty awesome.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like, yeah, I can, you building a house, you can't build it 24 fucking 7 all hours of the day. You take a break, you go get some fruit, you go
Mm,
home.
fruit
When you
from the fruit stand.
yeah, because it's right there and shit. But long story short, the house got to be built, and the quicker it's built, the quicker you're done, the quicker you can go to bed in that motherfucker.
I love it. I'm all about that. That's like, honestly, I think that that's right where I was at, and now I both literally and metaphorically have a
I'm in the
house.
house. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
straight chilling in the
yeah.
house.
So I think you understand it pretty much entirely. It's kind of like that's where I'm at, and I just have this idea of what I want my house to be, and I'm not gonna really be. I don't need it to be like. Let me scratch that. I don't have an idea of what the house is gonna look like. I just know the vibe I want. I'm in it. I know if it's gonna feel right or not. I don't know what it's gonna look like or where it's gonna be or
Well, yeah,
you know what I
that's the
mean?
fun part, though. Like, if you knew anything about the future, I think that that would be. People would be, oh, it's be nice. I wouldn't have anxiety. You would still have anxiety, I promise you, because that's your brain just like lying to itself. But I think that not knowing I think that comes back to what I was saying about kind of like just leaning into the unknown and just being like leaning into the work as much as like leaning into the unknown. The challenge, I think that as cliche as it is, the things that challenge us and the things that we fear are the things that we need to do like right now. So
Agreed.
so when I feel any sense of hesitation, I mean, I have points where I just become like, I don't notice it, and it's crazy how our brain is so good at like getting over itself. Like literally, I'll say this and be like, "Oh, I I just don't give up. I just don't stop," and then I'll find like myself like just completely off path. I'm like, "Shit, I was talking to myself." But yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm opening a track I've been working on. I was gonna play it before we finish, but we still have a little bit of time.
Um, yeah, bro. I think it's interesting that you say that. I remember my mom gave this talk, and she talks about the theme of the talk is called "What are you afraid of?" basically, and it's essentially saying, when you are done with puberty, you're dying. So what are you afraid of doing? You're already dying. Like, what would you do if you knew you were gonna die
Well, we all are
tomorrow?
gonna die, so I do know that.
Right? Like if you know you're gonna die tomorrow, like if you had a feeling of dying,
Um,
you know,
I have a
like
lot.
how
I have a lot. So there's a saying for this. It's called memento mori. Memento mori, 2 words. It means we're all gonna die, roughly translated.
uh,
And it's a Stoic philosophy. I've been studying Stoicism a lot lately in the last year, just because I came across a couple of the mindset and a little bit of the philosophy, and I was like, wait, this is exactly what I've always thought. And then the more I looked into it, the more I found that if I just leaned into, so it talks about like leaning into discomfort intentionally. It talks about a lot of different things, but yeah, it does talk about what say the quote again?
what are you afraid of, essentially?
Yeah, so it basically is saying memento mori. Like if you die, if you live every day as if it your last. I mean, I forget how many different leaders did it, but that's what I've been studying lately, so that's why it's on my mind. But yeah, that phrase really does keep me going because I've been saying this since before I even knew what Stoicism philosophy was. I've always said like if I died today and had to look back at
Yeah,
what I was doing, like would I be happy? Would I
right.
be okay with it? And I use that for several different ways. I use that to look at what I'm doing my day to day. Like, my job is my job fulfilling enough for me to look back and go, I made a difference, or was it just something I did for money? Same thing with my free time. Same thing like I. Same thing with. There's another way to look at it is like people. Like, did I talk to the people that I love today? Did I did I tell the people that I love them? Did I resolve my conflicts with people? Did I
I like
pay my
I like
debts?
I like that one. I'm big on that one because I remember seeing something of that. And they probably maybe the same thing you saw, where it's basically like if you could only say I love you to the people you said it to yesterday, would you feel okay?
Oh yeah, I use that with my with all of my, not just my possessions but my blessings. That's a good way to put it. Is if you only
Okay,
got to keep what you were grateful
right.
for yesterday.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like that for me. Oof, that I think that often, and I also think in the same kind of the same thought process is like that's the same as like if I died today, would I be happy with A, what I've been doing, and B, the like the ripples that I've been sending out? Because it's really easy to just A, become self-centered and self-focused and really just kind of like grinding it out. You're like, I'm doing this, but you forget to come up for air and like realize that A, there's other people around you, and B, that there are people that care about you that want to spend time with you, and spending time with you while you're doing work isn't
Right.
spending time with you. And I say this because I'm always trying to be more present with the people that are in my life because I don't have like hundreds of friends, and most of us don't. So like my message is really just like spend the time with the people that you can, and say what you need to say, and don't go to bed angry. That's a given. But overall, just living the life that you want to live, if it was your last, is not as morbid as people might think, and it actually really helps to resolve that like tension and anxiety of like you said, like what are you afraid of? You're gonna die. Like you might speed it up if you get into a speedboat, so that maybe like don't do that. But like if you're afraid of saying something to someone, or like going for a dream of yours, like maybe you want to go into space, like fucking go for it. I mean, maybe that's a really hard one to do, but like maybe you can become a pilot. Who knows? If you can't become a pilot, well then who knows? Maybe you can become a bungee jumper and go the opposite direction. Point being, keep trying and you'll get to where you want to go. And if you die along the way, at least you died doing something you loved, right? So I don't know.
Fair, yeah. I mean, I had a conversation with my girl a while back about how she asked me basically how do I just wake up and go? Like how do I get motivated? You know what I mean?
That's so funny.
It was a longer convo, but it came down to how do you put on heels and walk out the house when they hurt?
Same way you get up and make shit happen.
You know what I'm saying? So I think about that a lot now. I'm like, if I was a girl, like if I just had to put on these heels and make the shit go, because I don't want to get up out of bed sometimes. Sometimes I just gotta find my shit, because I personally, I don't have, both you and her are prescribed Adderall. I don't have that gift, so I have to get up and just go naturally. And sometimes I just think about that conversation. I'm like, if I was a girl and I just had to wear heels to work every day, I'd just make that shit work. Like, fuck it, you know? I could do it.
I just wouldn't. I say it all the time. I'm like, dude, wearing makeup and like being pretty, that sucks. I mean, I'm not saying that having a good skincare routine is anything that you shouldn't have, but just the extra standards that women have to go through. I say have to roughly, if you want to be accepted by, it's stupid, because like ever since I've been with my wife, like I've always been on the side of like, don't wear makeup if you don't want to wear makeup. Don't be pretty if you don't want to be pretty. Like, I know that that's kind of like not what I'm trying to say, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to like wear all this makeup. You don't have to like dress a certain way. You don't have to be a specific anything if you don't want to. But I noticed that with my wife, I would say the same thing to her, and she's like, it doesn't work like that. And I was like, if you want to dye your hair, dye your hair. She's like, yeah, but people don't respect me as it is because I'm a female. And then when I have dyed hair, gone. No, all the respect there would have been got out the window. Same thing with if you don't wear makeup. Same thing if you don't dress up. It's like, shit, really? Like, I get respect because I can either physically dominate most of the people, or I have some level of authority or some level of ability to like control the situation. And I mean, I could go off on a whole tangent, but yeah, it's weird, man. Like I wouldn't do it if I was a girl, but I say that as a man. So like going and saying like I wouldn't wear heels if I was supposed to, but like, yeah, you would. Like, you totally would. And I think you make a really good point, and I think that's a really interesting conclusion to come to, when it's like getting out of bed versus like just wearing the heels, because I honestly think that also comes down to the person. Like, I think obviously you two are winners, so you make it happen. But if she's wondering how you like get up and go, I think it's you putting a priority on it because it's important to you. Just like wearing heels is a priority because the outcome of wearing heels is important to you. The act is not important. Getting up sucks. Like, anyone who says like getting up and it is like fun at this stage as this type of a person is lying. They're high as shit, and I can't wait for them to come down. But honestly, I think that there's like going back to stoicism. I mean, there's a fulfillment. There's an achievement to doing the hard shit. Like just like working out gives you the achievement feeling, the fulfillment because you've done something hard. You get that after workout pump. I think you can get that from just doing the hard shit, especially doing the hard shit in the morning. There's a whole concept of eating the frog and like doing the hard shit early. And I think that, again, if you just like lean into that and become that person, I don't think that people with endurance are all born like that. I think for a good number of people that have endurance in terms of like getting up early or like making shit happen, like working 2 jobs, like you just do it. It's weird. Like parents, like I don't know how they do it, man. They just make time appear. Like, I don't have enough time for a kid, and they're like, I didn't either. And I'm like, well, then what the fuck did you do? And then I realized they got rid of all the extras, and I'm like, no. No, that's not what I. But if I had a child, like that's what you'd have to do. Like you don't have a you kind of have a choice,
But
but you don't.
if you're the type of person we are, you don't.
You don't have
You
a
know?
choice. No, your life is now over. Your life is that kid's life, and you're gonna make sure that kid has the best life it can. Anyway, but yeah, I think it's interesting that you brought up like the like just getting up and go. I laughed because of our conversation with Mello and Manny. We were
Oh,
talking,
mellow.
huh?
How's that going, by the way? Any mellow yellows in the morning? Not mellow yellows. Any
The Mountain Dew.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad that you asked because the answer is no. I haven't bought any and I haven't drank any since I finished what I bought. Yeah, so what I did is what I so I bought I take the Genius mushrooms capsules and they have this stuff called Genius and Awaken, and it's powder and it is like a bunch of different like roots and all this other shit, but it's got caffeine in it. So now what I do instead of drinking the Mountain Dew with all the other bullshit in it, like aspartame and stuff, I literally just take a scoop and I dry scoop in my mouth and I drink like a half a glass of water and then I just move on. And it, dude, I wakes me the fuck up. I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then I have for after lunch, instead of drinking another energy drink, I have these little capsules that are caffeine and L-theanine. And L-theanine it takes the edge off of caffeine. So basically, it takes away the jitters and the tension and that like feeling, and it evens you
Nice.
out. But you still have the alertness. So I still have this like focus, and I'm like ready to go. But I'm not like
Right. That's great though. I mean, that sounds like a good combo. How long have you been on that combo?
I started that the day after, so however long it's been since we talked to Mello, so like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been nice. It was not a hard adjustment, honestly, and it's so funny too because I told myself I was like I'm not gonna stop drinking these things, but then I really started to look into it and I was like it's probably best that I do though. If we're gonna be honest, I probably should. And then I was doing research, and then came across I had to order more Genius mushrooms anyway, and I was like, it was like, oh, Genius Awaken. I was like, wait a second, hold up. If I already take these, I bet you they work well with these. Like, I mean, it's the same company, and it does. It really, the synergy between the two is perfect. The mental clarity and the, like, it's just, for lack of a better word, it's pep.
I like that though.
It literally is just like it's like a fizzy sparkle for my brain. Like I think that's the best way to put it for this stuff. And I don't think it's for everybody, but for me, man, it honestly if I was told tomorrow like you can't have any more Adderall, that's what I would recommend to anyone who wants to get off of Adderall is that shit because not it doesn't give you the high that Adderall gives you, but it takes away the need for the stimulation like
Yeah.
the all that stuff. I mean, so I also what I did is for in between if I need a little bit of extra caffeine because the Mountain Dews are 200 each and the scoop is only 100, so I'm not dropping from 400 all the way down to 100. That's just not happening. But I have Focus Aid, which I think I had talked about before, which is it's all natural caffeine through green tea and all that other stuff, but everything in the drink itself is what they call like clean energy. So it doesn't taste good. It's yerba mate.
Okay.
It tastes bad. It's not, and the fact that it tastes bad lets me know that there's not anything like extra in it because it's literally like a sparkly root beverage because I've poured it into a cup before to see what it looked like, and it's like this brown, like cloudy drink, and it tastes like bitter, but it works, man. I love it.
You've seen the mud water? That's what I think of. The mud.
Basically, yeah. So I tried the scoop shit in water, and the aftertaste of the fake mango that they put into it, or the mango essence. I don't know whatever it is. But it's just saying it got my mouth to just make a face. It's not good at all. So that's why I dry scoop it because I can't even mix it in water. It makes the water suck. So I have to just like put it on my tongue in a pile and then just like throw it back and then just like chug water until it's out of my mouth. But Yeah, it's
Is
fun.
that not stressful, but is that like an annoying thing to do? Like the
So the first
like
time it was, but now I kind of look forward to it because it's gotten a lot easier. Like most things
okay,
do, it's gotten easier in terms of my ability to just like throw it back and just like move on with my day. Before I was like, yeah, yeah, but now I'm just like, and I'll like
yeah, yeah,
move on. Actually, so now what I do is I take it as an opportunity to get my like you're supposed to drink a glass of water in when you wake up. So instead of like
yeah.
immediately, I have a really hard time with drinking water, so that forces me to drink it. So that's one glass because I'll drink it all after I've done the dry scoop, and then I'll refill it and take other supplements like what is it, tyrosine for focus and shit, and then I'll take ashwagandha and some other stuff. But I'll use it as an opportunity to take morning supplements for focus and energy and clarity, and then
Mm,
yeah. So it's all about finding ways to make the things that you know you need to do work for you, and admitting when they don't also, because I found a lot of things that didn't work, which is why I ended up with where I was. But I think that it's also important to take the opportunity to try new things, especially when it comes to like diet and exercise, because I think that it's easy for us to get really attached to like food habits, whether it be like candy or sweets or even anything really. Energy drinks is a big one, but for people that drink coffee but have like sugar and fucking milk, all that other shit, like why? Stop it. But I
I
can't
feel
say that. You what?
I said I feel like it's interesting because I don't like the jitters of coffee. Like I really dislike that feeling. Um, so sometimes I'll just do like a little sugar rush situation. Like I'll be going somewhere, I just need like a Kit Kat or some
Yeah,
chill shit.
man. Chocolate bar is where it's at. I really do like a nice Snickers when I'm a little bit hungry and I need a little bit of a boost.
You know, like you're gonna eat later, but right now you just need to do something. Let me
My
get that
go-to
milky way.
was Payday. So Payday it's like
Ooh,
caramel and
I know
peanuts.
what a payday is. I like Grand bars
Ooh, okay. I think they're from the same company.
probably.
Yeah.
Most people don't know what they are about. Fuck Grand.
Isn't it 100 grand or is it just grand?
I think it's 100 grand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It just says Grand.
Yeah, those are, I forget what those are. But yeah, man, I think it's important to reassess what's going on in your life, just generally speaking, um, daily. Honestly, I don't think you need. I think it's important to spend time disconnected from your phone and computer and all that other shit, video games, whatever, even TV, and just be able to reflect. But I think that's not feasible for a lot of people. So I'm not saying like you have to do it to be successful, but I think just having, even if you spend like 10 minutes just sit and just like, I mean, you and I have talked about this a bunch of times, but I've been doing it more recently at night because I have this habit of just like either watching TV and then just going to bed and not having time to process my day. So what I'll do is I'll like come back into my studio after my work day and after I'm done like working on music, and I'll just like sit for a second, and then after I process my day, then I'll go to bed. And it really has helped with not only getting up in the morning and not feeling stressed, but going to sleep at night because I don't have that like, okay, now I got to think about everything. I've already done that, and I've already allowed my brain the time it needs to go. Okay, this here, this here, this here. Okay, all right, now let's move on. And then that also has led to me planning and prepping for the night, or prepping the night before for the next day. So not as like ridiculous as laying my clothes out for the next day because I don't even know what I'm going to wear, and I wear the same thing every day because I got rid of that decision a long time ago. But being able to um, set up my computer for the next day, or be able to, I know I'm going to have to, for example, yesterday I knew I was going to have to get up in the morning and go get milk for my smoothie because we were out, and I knew it the night before. So instead of forcing myself to do all that shit in the morning, I just went after dinner. Like, just that.
Uh,
It's just doing stuff like that and finding time to let your mind think and process, because it allows you to get the stuff done that we just dismiss easily, like laundry or like whatever responsibilities you have. It's easy to
right.
dismiss them because they're not that big of a deal, and that's why they pile up and we end up doing them on weekends. But if you take just 30 minutes every day and just sit and like process your day. You don't have to meditate. I'm not saying like just be clear, be free. I mean, you can bring out paper if you want, but just sit and like go through your day. Like, okay, how did I wake up? Did I wake up in a bad mood? How can we do better tomorrow? These types of assessment and self-reflection helps you to be more self-aware, and it helps you to be more intentional about what you're doing with your time. Because again, me especially, it's really easy to just like be like, I don't have enough time, and it's like, well, why don't you have enough time? Let's analyze that. What are you doing with your time?
I do the same thing. I had to learn to ask that same question of myself. It's like, well, most of this stuff that I'm kind of delegating is probably not really worthwhile. I just put it there first. And you have to like remove the idea of like changing what you already scheduled if it's not really worthwhile for the thing you know is going to be worthwhile, you know? Because it's like you prioritize a thing because you're used to being able to, or you're used to how you prioritize things, but then something like life hits you and like, oh, this is actually more important.
Yeah.
So then you need, you know what I mean? You need to be able to adjust and just be like, okay, I'm not going to go with this, whatever the bullshit is.
Super simple. It's super simple, but super hard.
You want to play the track before we sign off?
Yeah, man. Let me share it first with you, and then I'll share it with the crew. It definitely is going to get a new name, but for now. So, funny story about this track is it started, the track name is Electric. It was supposed to be electric with a K, basically, and an E. So basically this track started because I took an acapella and I was trying to live mix the acapella over a techno song, but it didn't turn out the way I wanted. And then so I was making a house track and I decided to chop up the vocal and then warp the shit out of it. And then I ended up making a whole track out of just the vocal chopped up. And then I tried a bunch of different weird things. But I also took a recording, and you'll hear it in this. I took a recording in my backyard, like that I got with my professional recorder, and I put it underneath, and there are birds chirping, but birds chirp in a cycle. I don't know if you know that or not, but birds will do the same do 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 do. They'll do the same thing. So if you record it, you can lay it on music, and it'll be on time. I didn't realize how on time it would be, and without any adjustment, I'm talking zero, no adjustment whatsoever, perfect, on time.
Wow.
It's nuts how, and I honestly was doing it for a video for Instagram. I put it underneath, I was like, this is what you would do in this situation, and then I played it and I was like, yo, this is good. And then it was it. So anyway, I think I'm sure.
Are the birds part of the melody, or are they influencing the drums? Or?
No, it's just atmosphere for the background.
Got it.
It's not. I didn't make it part of the track. It just is. So like it's so you hear like the wind and stuff. You'll hear it. There's one part where it's just that. Like all that is just my backyard playing, with some effects on it. Let me make sure it's playing on here as well. What time is it? Oh, cool. Perfect timing. Output. Multi-output device. Yes. Okay. And then I can hit Ableton, undo, and then I should be able to... Hold on. Yeah. All right. Cool. You heard that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's the track, and
I like the birds a lot.
it's a really good, like, it adds a good element. Adds a natural element.
Great.
keyboards, just killing it back there. And there's a reverse cowbell. It's yeah, little stuff like that. I love doing that. Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
What was the inspiration from the beginning for that? Was it the bird sounds or something else?
So the inspiration was that. So it kind of started to form itself. So that vocal that acapella is from a track that my wife and it was my wife's favorite band before they broke up. And the first time that we hung out as friends at a music festival was like at Ultra, and we went to Ultra, and that vocal, the band that vocal came from, played there, and that's when we like hit it off and started having a really good time. And then we ended up seeing them later when we were dating in Orlando and had this insanely good time. So that song and that band, it's called Crystal Castles, and the acapella or the song is called Untrust Us. And I don't know if I have the original in here. Oh, I do. But the original sounds like this, but the inspiration was that the track itself plays a very sentimental role in my relationship. So it was even cooler that I don't even know if you could tell because my wife couldn't tell, but my wife's in the background of that right before it drops. It goes, she says she came out of the door and she goes, "It is so nice out," and that's the last thing you hear. And I put a huge reverb tail on it, and it goes, "It is so nice," and then it just like drops into the drop. So yes, that was the inspiration for the whole like vibe, was to make, because between that song being very like almost like melancholy, like solemn, very like ooh, like that, but then having it be this like airy day, like airy summer day, I guess would be a way to put it. That was the way I built it, and then I wanted it to be very like I said, airy and spacious, but also bring a brightness. So that's why it has like a lot of like bright pieces to it. But I think this is the original, and then I'll hop off. Yeah. So that's the intro, and then here's the. So yeah, that's what I got it from. And then
can you play the part with her voice in it so I can hear it, so I can see if I hear it now that you said it?
Oh, you mean yeah. In the track here. Let me take it. Where is that piece? It's right here. So that's here. That's this right here. It's slow as shit. It's half timed, and then it's reverbed, and then it's dropped. Yeah, but I had to basically put a bunch of effects on it and get it to like turn into this gnarly. Here, I think I still have it. It's this insanely like wild sound. Here, oh, this is it right here. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, so like this is what I do for sound design.
it does sound crazy.
And then there's this. Hold on.
It sounds like an elephant on a chalkboard.
Oh yeah, so like that's where it all came from. But yeah, I'm excited to release that one. I'm gonna shop that one out. I'm gonna get it on a, maybe not a label, but I'm gonna get it boosted in terms of like on a platform or something.
Yeah, it definitely needs that. Where are you going again tonight?
So we're gonna go to dinner right now for our anniversary, which is on Monday, and then we're gonna go to see a comedian. Her name is Hannah Berner. I've never seen her, but it's my wife's favorite comedian from TikTok. So we'll see. There's a lot of pressure. I said she better be funny.
Right. I wonder. I hope so.
I hope so too. If not, she's gonna hear it. No,
All right, have fun.
I will, brother. Appreciate your time. Have a good day.